Facebook, but not for long. In fact, it could be the last time, for all I know. Anyway, let's get this thing started on this Saturday morning, shall we? Hello, and welcome. Look, I'm back on Facebook. Yeah, I'm back on Facebook after a month off of Facebook. And I'm not going to be here long, guys. On the day after the election this year, I was banned for 1 month from all of my Facebook pages. This had never happened before, okay? Now, in the past, they had said, way back in September, August, way back, that I had posted some material that they found was not correct, okay? Now, these are news articles. I grab news articles. I don't know extreme websites or anything. I try to do with, credible websites when I when I source my material, because I like to be factual, all right? But they took me down the day after the election. All of my pages, including my personal one. My Rob Carson page with just my family pictures. I couldn't get in touch with my mother. My cooking page, Rob Carson's Table. I could not go on Deplorables Radio and do posts there. Hi, Greg. Yeah, I'm explaining, Greg, where I've been. Please share with others, okay? Facebook went after me politically the day after the election. I was reaching 100,000 people a week, and I went to pretty much zero. They did it for political reasons. They never explained why. I had been taken off the day after the election. Should be fairly obvious why the day after the election that I'd be taken down. But I was, all of my pages, every single one of them. And they came back online yesterday. Now, since the last time we talked, I am now on Parler, Parler, under Rob Carson Show. I'm on MagaBook, magabook.com, under Rob Carson Show, and on Rumble at Rob Carson Show, which is an alternative to YouTube. And all of those are exploding. I mean, massively. So, join me there. But Facebook has proven they are a tool of the state. Facebook has proven they are a tool of the state. There is no doubt about it. Mark Zuckerberg donated $400 million, and it was matched by the federal government to promote leftist candidates in leftist cities. All right? That's it. So they are a tool of the state. So is Twitter. We are finding that Twitter is, and they have had a massive impact on the election. And by the way, the AP is saying that Joe Biden is officially the president. I'm saying to the AP, F you. Okay? All right. So I'm going to get into a bunch of video this morning. Check out some new designs up here. We've got a new one. It's called Super Spreader. Check this out. It's really funny, actually. There you go. Super Spreader, and it says gypped on there as well. So we got a bunch of new shirts up there. Just go to tpublic.com and look up conservatees. I want to start here this morning because there's been a lot of debate about, and I'm getting this constantly from my son, who is a college student, and consequently, he leans liberal because he doesn't know any better. And eventually, he will probably change his ways. That's the way it happens generally. You're surrounded by people who are completely one-minded, and consequently, you become that person. But this is from Georgia. By the way, an Arizona judge this morning tossed Trump's suit about the election, and not a surprise because there are a lot of liberal judges around the country. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. Not only do we have a corrupt national government, we have corrupt state governments, corrupt city governments, and corrupt courts. And our country is becoming, for lack of a better term, a banana republic. And it is time to overthrow the people in power. And I'm not saying, does that mean to be physically? No. But it is time for a reinvention. It is time for a revolution. It is time for 1776 all over again. And it's time for us to be visible, and it's time for us to say, we're just not going to take this anymore. We're just not going to take this corruption anymore. We're not going to have the election stolen on the national front. And everybody who has any common sense whatsoever, you can tell that the damn thing was stolen. And if you think that Joe Biden got 80 million votes, you are just fooling yourself, or you're just effing lying. Bullshit. Bullshit. Also, did you notice that since the election, COVID has gotten worse? And the restrictions have gotten worse than ever. In fact, in the state of California, they're on lockdown. You can't leave your house. In LA, they're saying you can't leave your home. You can't go for a walk. Why is that? Why is that? Have you ever in your life been told that you could not go out to eat, you could not go to church, you could not assemble with your friends and family, you could not have people from a different household in your home, you could not walk in the park, you could not work, you could not send your kids to school? This is all for a virus that is slightly more deadly than the flu. What's going on? What is going on? If you think this is normal, if you think that 2020 happened because things just suddenly went out of control, you're out of your mind. 2020 happened because it's 2020. We had COVID. We had our cities burning around the country in a coordinated attacks. Why did that stop? Why did that stop? Why did all the burning and the looting stop, except for in Portland and Seattle? Why did all that stop? Why is COVID so much worse now that we've got the best news we could possibly imagine in the case of 3 vaccines that are 95% effective? Why are we shutting down everything since Donald Trump is contesting the election? Why is that, guys? I need you to think. I need you to think about this. Because if you accept this as normal, then you might as well get on the train car. You might as well get on. This is testimony in the state of Georgia. These are legitimate voter rolls. And if any judge says otherwise, that judge needs to be taken out of office. These are legitimate statistics just from the state of Georgia. Listen.
2,506 felons voted illegally in Georgia. 66,248 underage and therefore ineligible people to illegally register to vote before their 17th birthday, when the law requires 17 and a half years old. At least 2,423 individuals to vote who were not listed as registered. 1,043 individuals to cast ballots who had illegally registered to vote using a post office box. 4,926 individuals voted in Georgia who had registered to vote after their Georgia voter registration date, thereby canceling their Georgia voter registration. 10,315 or more individuals to vote who are deceased by the time of the election. 395 individuals to vote in Georgia who had cast ballots in another state, which is illegal in both states. 15,700 individuals to vote in Georgia who had filed a national change of address with the United States Postal Service prior to November.
This is all verified, kids.
3rd, 2020. 40,279 individuals to vote who had moved across county lines at least 30 days prior to Election Day and who had failed to properly re-register to vote in their new county after moving, also in violation of Georgia law.
Okay, also in the state of Georgia, by the way, we have the special election coming up with 2 Senate seats. Georgia officials have launched an investigation into several third-party registration groups, including one founded by PIG, Person in Government Stacey Abrams, for repeatedly and aggressively seeking to register ineligible, out-of-state, or deceased voters ahead of the January 5th Senate runoff elections. Okay? They're so emboldened by the fact that they have leftists in courts. They're so emboldened by the fact that the media won't cover it. They're so emboldened by the fact that people who do try to sell, share legitimate information and video clips and evidence on social media, that they're shut down, like I was, for 30 days. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger said that the new Georgia project, founded by Abrams in 2014, as well as two other organizations, America Votes and Vote Forward, are subject to investigations. Now, he said his office had issued warnings several times. Apparently, evidence arrived at Raffensperger's doorstep. The Secretary of State announced on Wednesday that his family had received mailers directed at his deceased son, urging him to register to vote. The secretary said, "Here's something that came to my house. We got all three of them, all from the same organization, all to my son, Brenton, who passed away 2 years ago. We've had additional information coming in regarding the tactics from these groups, including the new Georgia product sending 5 voter registrations to the same dead person and sending applications to ineligible voters. God damn it, I'm sick of this shit." Now, I usually watch my language on this, but this is just outrageous, and I am not going to accept it, and I'm not going to take it. Ravensburger said that over the past couple of weeks, complaints have been flooding into his office about the new Georgia project, sending voter registration information out of state residents, including a package of postcards to an individual living in New York. This POS, Stacey Abrams, needs to be thrown in effing jail. Arizona lawsuit was just tossed out by a liberal judge in Arizona, despite massive voter fraud in Arizona. Here is Rudy Giuliani talking with Sean Hannity last night about the courts and what they can do without the courts.
Here to provide even more updates on the Trump campaign's efforts
Lynn, by the way, welcome.
to restore election integrity. The attorney for the president, Rudy Giuliani. All right, let's start in Nevada, where we're just talking to your attorney out there.
Yeah, a shame.
Nevada,
I went through
Arizona,
the numbers, 130,000 votes identified. I mean, we're not talking 42,000 people voting twice, 23,000 votes out of state. If that would be ineligible, 44,000 ballots cast from non-existent or commercial addresses, 1,500 votes of people not alive. Now, the judge chose not to talk to the witnesses. Now, you have the next, you bring your appeal to the next court. But to me, when you have all these affidavits of hundreds and hundreds of people, you've identified all of these cases of people that shouldn't.
Why are judges not listening to hundreds and hundreds of people in sworn affidavits? Because they are political tools, they are crooked, and they need to be removed from effing office.
Vote, and in every case from Wisconsin to Pennsylvania to Arizona to Georgia, and Michigan, we're talking about enough votes to overturn the election. You're going to have to have some judicial relief in this.
You are, Sean, but the reality is the judge has completely changed the law. He's created a fantasy out of the law. When you bring allegations in a civil complaint on a motion to dismiss, the judge has to assume that your allegations are true and correct. He did just the opposite. He has no right to do that.
Nope.
Now, we can get him reversed, but he's accomplished what he wants to accomplish.
Yep.
He's delayed things. And I'm sorry to say he's a Democrat.
Yep.
And you can't tell me he made this decision based on his legal knowledge unless he really didn't go to law school.
Son of a bitch needs to be drummed out of office, led out of the courthouse in chains.
On a motion to dismiss, you have to assume that every allegation we make is true, and then say, if it's true, it doesn't violate the law. Later on, you get to make a motion for summary judgment where you challenge the facts. But we get a chance for a hearing. The reason I went to the state legislatures, Sean, is because I saw what the courts were doing. And I wanted to go around them so the facts could get out. A Georgia court wouldn't have allowed us to put those witnesses on. The legislature did it. In Michigan, the same thing.
Yep.
We had 2 Democrat judges, and they weren't allowing us to put witnesses on. But I was able to get some of the witnesses you see there because I went to the legislature. Now,
And the mainstream media avoided all of that.
Now, the simple fact is...
It's just unbelievable, guys. It is unbelievable. We live in North Korea. We live in Venezuela. That's the way it's gotten. And the only way we're going to be able to fight this is to overthrow it.
We don't need courts. The United States Constitution gives sole power to the state legislature to decide presidential elections. In fact, if we go back to the founding fathers, they would tell us we're making a mistake. This should be thrown right to the House of Representatives and the Senate, and the Senate in each state, and they should hold hearings. They should make factual determinations, and they should decide what the right voter count is. So you look at Georgia, they're already there. I mean, that tape yesterday was dynamite. That tape alone represents theft of more than enough votes to turn the election around.
All right.
Yep. Barbara, I can't believe that they are getting away with this. Well, they think they are. And are we going to let them? Are we going to let them? I'm not going to let them. I don't care if it means me driving to Washington, D.C. with millions of others. I don't care. I don't care. I will do what it takes. I'm not going to live like this. I'm not going to have this election taken away. I'm not going to have my freedom taken away, my ability to express myself taken away. I'm not going to be called some sort of conspiracy theorist, because right now, guys, about 80 million of our votes have been negated. Your votes have been negated. Your votes are meaningless because they are being stolen. How do you feel about that? To me, stealing your vote is tantamount to murder. We live in an unbelievable country that has been the greatest engine of economic and individual freedom in the history of mankind. And right now, we are teetering on the brink. And there are 80 million people who are on a razor's edge, just waiting for someone to come along and lead them and say, here's what we need to do. That leader is in our White House right now, and he is fighting. Last night, his ex-spokeswoman, she basically threw in the towel. I'm drawing a blank on her name right now. But anyway, I'm not throwing in the towel. I'm not going to live like this. I'm not going to live like this. F you. Donald Trump won in 2016. They spent 4 years throwing a tantrum over Donald Trump, calling you and me Nazis or white supremacists, even if we're not white. And you think we're going to do a kumbaya moment? You think we're going to come together? You think we're just going to take this? You think we're going to just take this? We're going to take the country being shutting down and our schools being shut down and our kids being driven to suicide? You think we're going to take that? You think we're going to hide our neighbors behind our bookcases? You think we're going to allow you to tell us who we can have in our home? You think you're going to allow us not to go to church? Are you out of your nut? Lynn, hello and welcome to the show. Glad to have you joining me this morning. Here is Sidney Powell talking with my friend, Mr. Grant Stitchfield, last night on Newsmax TV, my network.
Has the Kraken been released yet? What is the Kraken? Can you explain it to everybody?
Well, it comes from a line in the movie, and either the Iliad or the Odyssey. The Odyssey, I think, the mythical sea monster that could destroy anything in its path.
I remember.
So,
we're waiting for your Kraken.
We're waiting for the Kraken. Get on it.
Yeah, we're calling me the Kraken, and
let's get on it.
Released to go after all the fraud I can see and find. So that's kind of the analogy there.
Do it.
All right. So how is the case going, in your opinion? Are you where you want to be? Should it be moving faster? Where does it stand?
Well, the 11th Circuit just rejected our appeal from the district court's partial grant of relief to us. And so we'll be back in the district court for a hearing, hopefully Monday or Tuesday. We'll see where it goes from there. But one of the things we want and have been trying to get with great opposition is the voting machines to be secured all across the state of Georgia, because massive evidence of the shaving of votes and the flipping of votes from Trump to Biden exists in those machines, except to the extent they've been erasing things and destroying evidence as fast as they can do it. I have in my office right now a huge bag of shredded ballots. I can't wait to see what that discloses. And there are more on the way. Cobb County, Gwinnett County.
Where do you get the shredded ballots from? Who turns those over to you?
Citizens are out there watching and observing everything. The people of America are not going to allow our president to be defeated by fraudulent election mechanisms.
Thank you.
And these people have used every manner and means of voter fraud you can imagine. It was heavily coordinated. It was heavily funded. And they now have 25 lawyers or so lined up against us, our little ragtag team of misfit toys that are trying to fight for truth and justice for the American people.
Well, you know, your ragtag team has some pretty impressive folks on it, including some real high-tech security experts and cybersecurity experts. Colonel Waldron had spelled out that he had been able to somewhat reverse engineer, and white hat hackers had been able to see that votes had gone overseas. Do you have that proof to present to a court?
Where's that hard drive that was in Germany? Where is it?
Yes, we have scads of evidence. We have statistical evidence. We have mathematical impossibilities. It's simply impossible for hundreds of thousands of votes to suddenly accrue to Mr. Biden. You have that incident on tape, which is abject evidence of fraud. Nobody hides ballots under a table. Mr. Raffensperger was flat out lying. Anybody who can read body language can tell that. There should be a criminal investigation of his and his deputy secretary's finances around the time of the $107 million Dominion contract that was suddenly awarded in Georgia when they didn't need a new system. The whole thing stinks to high heaven. You know, they lied to get rid of the observers in the audit in the State Farm Center that night. Then they pull out the ballots they had segregated.
This man is a Republican, and he is a sellout.
Under the table that's just happened to turn out 98% for Biden. Yes, right. They do it after telling everybody to leave.
Oh, but this has been disputed and discredited, apparently.
I want to play...
Even though the vote spike occurred when the people were in the State Farm Center counting the votes.
For you, a soundbite from one of Raffensperger's workers that was on Newsmax today, explaining that they've somehow debunked this. I don't know how they do that in less than 24 hours, where we continue to gather more evidence from the video as the days go on. But listen to this, and I'll get your response.
Everything was there. There was nothing new brought in. We didn't see somebody wheeling stuff into the room. We saw stuff that was already in the room that the monitors already saw brought in.
That was hidden under a table.
And then you saw the processes they're doing. Essentially what happened, the elections director called the absentee coordinator. That said,
we don't believe you.
We're not shutting down. Tell them they got to go back to work, because the counting people thought they were also getting to go home. So they were kind of disappointed. Tired elections workers suddenly become the Ocean's 11 crew as part of a theft of an election. Or is it more likely they were tired and irritated?
I'm going to go with
I can't listen to this guy. I really can't, because I don't even think he's looked at the video in a manner to come to any of those conclusions, because any reasonable person, Sidney Powell, would come to a conclusion you need further investigation to at least interview these people. There's no way they had time to do that.
Well, there's no reason to lie to begin with to get rid of everyone and pull ballots out from under a table that run 98% or better for Biden if you're not committing fraud. You certainly don't run the same stack of ballots through the machine twice, but that's what they do when they want to generate massive amount of votes that they already know accrue for Biden because they were that way. Those were probably the pristine ballots that were all pre-marked for Biden by a machine.
With no down ballot votes.
It's such flagrant evidence of fraud throughout this case. They're sticking it in our faces.
They are. It's like Stacey Abrams said, get out the vote charity. They know they can get away with it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going there. I will fight. This was a man at the hearing in Michigan. And you know, right now you've got 70-some million people who are saying that the election is being stolen. You would think that the Democrat Party, to bring the country together, would be eager to prove that it is not happening. You would think that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris would be on the fore saying, hey, we won the election and we want to bring the country together. If you really want to bring the country together, You have to prove why you got 80 million votes, 15 million more than Barack Obama. You never campaigned, and you're a feeble old man who can barely keep his thoughts together. Here is this gentleman at the Michigan hearing.
Say that they're not convinced and want a forensic audit done in several counties.
Wayne, Macomb, Oakland, Kent, and my Antrim County, show us the facts. We want to see the ballots. We want to see the poll books. We want to see the cables, the tabulators. We want to see it all. And if you prove to us, Mr. Biden, with all due respect, we'll accept you as our president. We will accept you as our senators and our state representatives to heal this state and to heal this country. I have not lived for 62 years with kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids to see this election stolen, which is what we believe. Prove
70+ million people believe this. Prove it otherwise, or there's going to be a fight like you've never seen.
us wrong. All you have to do is that auditing of the books, the ballots, in full disclosure with a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, Jocelyn Benson, Governor Whitmer, Mr. Biden in the room. If you do that, the truth will be shown and our land will be healed. But until you do it, we're not going to buy it.
We aren't going to buy it. And we aren't going to go quietly into the night. We're not going to go anywhere. Debbie Jo says, yeah, I believe this was planned for years. Oh, yeah, at least years. And they got greedy. They got greedy. Because they're able to pull it off in cities, in Democrat cities. They're able to pull it off. And even in Democrat states. But they went for the big one. And they thought that they could get hundreds, perhaps thousands of people involved and there wouldn't be evidence. Now they're relying on people just to cover it up or act like it's not happening and tell you you're crazy for believing that making observers and workers leave a vote counting facility, leaving 4 vote counters with suitcases full of ballots to count them without being supervised. You're crazy. But you clearly are not seeing things. It's, you know what? Bullshit. We're not stupid. We're not stupid. That's my mantra with regard to this election. We are not stupid. Don't do that. If you tell us that we are being conspiratorial or that evidence is not real when it's very clear that it is, you're just going to piss us off. We are not letting this election go, and we are not going to go close our doors and lock our families in because of COVID. Here is Jesse Banal. He is a lawyer for the president.
We are going to present evidence of real voter fraud.
This is in Nevada.
Thousands and thousands of instances in voter fraud in Nevada alone by 5 o'clock today that will be submitted to the court. And we have instances, for instance, of 40,000 plus people who have voted twice in the election. That's real voter fraud. We have data showing that people who were on the record as having voted by mail didn't even receive ballots and say that they didn't vote. We have a lot of evidence that we are going to be presenting to the court showing that voters have been disenfranchised in Nevada because every single time there's a fraudulent vote cast, put into the system, it dilutes the votes of honest voters.
It doesn't dilute them. It steals them. How do you feel about that? My vote is sacred. When I went in to vote, whenever I go in to vote, particularly this time, I went in, I left, I had goosebumps. I felt good. But right now, my vote on the national scale is being negated. And to me, that is akin to murder. That is akin to assault. That's my right to decide what I want my government to do. And it's being taken over by those who would steal it because they cannot win ideologically. They cannot win ideologically. If you look at the down ballot and you look at socialism and Joe Biden's policies, They lost down ballot massively to the tune of a Ronald Reagan landslide, and they're stealing the presidency because nobody in their right mind would vote for Joe Biden. The only people who voted for Joe Biden were voting against Donald Trump, and it wasn't to the tune of 80 million people. If you look at just the walk-away movement, million people leaving the Democrat Party because they're tired of the Democrat Party, Democrats who walked away. If you look at the numbers of blacks and Hispanics who voted for Donald Trump compared to any other candidate since 1960, there's no way that Joe Biden could have won that election, and we aren't stupid. Here is a Michigan poll worker talking about miraculously, when you get ballots in, they aren't sequenced. It would be like scattering cards into the breeze, picking them up, putting them back together, and having them be in perfect sequence, except for multiply that by hundreds of thousands.
When I started writing down the ballot numbers and the last names of the person of the ballot that had the name on that ballot, they were all in sequence. These are absentee ballots, mail-in ballots. They cannot be in sequence. 2232 cannot have 2233 next to it, because if they're mailed in, they come in all different numbers. And when I started noticing that these numbers are almost next to each other, like one or the other was in the middle, but then they were almost next to each other, my antennas went up. That's exactly when I thought,
because you're not stupid.
Something is not right here. Then I asked the supervisor. There was not even a date on those envelopes. It said November 0-2020. There was no second number there. Then I said, What is the date on this one? Then they got really mad at me. They said, you're not letting us do our job.
The left is waging war on you. The war has already been started. You don't even know it yet. A shot hasn't been fired, but the left is waging a war to overthrow you and our country. The battle is already happening. Now we've got to pick up arms and fight back. I'm not talking about physically, yet anyway.
Disturbing us. And at that point, because we really don't want to be kicked out, so we were just kind of not challenging anything because we want to still stay in the room because we barely had anybody. Not only that, the sequence ballot numbers were all from the same area, like the Goddard Street in the downtown Detroit. Goddard Street, sequential ballots, signatures were all alike. They had no date stamp. It said, it was empty after 0. There was no third or second or first or nothing. And none of them were coming up in the system. They were all being entered manually. They even knew that none of these details would even be in the poll book or in the system.
We're not stupid. I want to mention something real quick here. This is kind of cool. We're doing this again. For those of you who subscribe to my YouTube channel or my Rumble channel. Here, let me shrink this up here so you can see. There we are. Okay. So rumble.com, Rob Carson Show. I have 11,000 subscribers. That's within a month. That's huge. Still got a long way to go. YouTube, not so much, but if you want to sign up for YouTube too, that'd be fine. I'm going to choose one lucky winner. That's our first winner right there. You're going to get a freezer full of Wagyu beef from Hassel Cattle Company in Texas and a Pit Barrel Classic cooker. Go to HassleCattleCompany.com. Go to PitBarrelCooker.com if you are doing some Christmas shopping for the barbecue aficionado, for the smoker in your life, and I'm talking about smoking meat, not cigarettes. Subscribe. Will you do that today? Will you please do that today? Because it's growing. It's growing. It's getting big. I mean, the show is taking off. My Newsmax show is taking off. It's wonderful. I've been blessed. Today, my show will be on Newsmax TV at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's Rob Carson's What in the World, and it's a gangbuster episode. It's really funny. It's on tomorrow as well at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So it's growing dramatically. Oh, this is really nice. Check this out. So Native American tribal members were offered gifts such as jewelry and gift cards in exchange for voting in Nevada. This is videos showing this. There's an 18-minute video. Reno Sparks Indian Colony spokesperson Bethany Sam offered gifts to people to show up to vote. They had Visa gift cards, and they had $500 gift card to prove they had voted. And of course, they are Democrats. I think it's very interesting. Here's the cute little people showing the great gifts you can get for voting Democrat.
$25 gift cards to raffle off. So that's a lot of money cash here.
This is illegal, by the way.
We have also 4 $100 gift cards to give
I
away.
want you to notice here. See what she's got? Like little necklaces and stuff. I want you to kind of think about this real quick here, how insulting this is to Native Americans that you would offer them trinkets and beads for something sacred. Do you not understand? I think anybody with a mind does, but these fools, really, how insulting this is.
So again,
to Native Americans, wow.
You want to make sure you get out here to vote. And then we have 4 $250 gift cards to raffle. And
trinkets and beads.
Our grand prize is going to be a $500 Visa gift card.
I think we've actually, I think we've heard that. One other thing also, guys, is that the USPS was involved in this. The Postal Service was involved in this. We know that the Postal Service endorsed Joe Biden as the candidate. We know that, according to testimony from at least one postal driver, that he was told to bring a truckload of 380,000 ballots from New York to Pennsylvania, where that truck trailer that he had been hauling, he had the serial number and everything, just managed to disappear overnight. So the U.S. Postal Service is involved. The judiciary is involved. State legislatures are involved. City officials are involved. Local Democrat officials are involved. Hundreds and hundreds of people are involved in this deal. It is a massive coordinated effort. And if you think that it's going to be covered up by just saying you're crazy for believing otherwise, you are the one who's crazy. I think I'm going to move on. I think I'm going to move on to coronavirus, because right now that is the other assault to our liberty. And if you think it's just about the coronavirus, you are wrong. Why, after all of the measures, why, after the mortality rate of coronavirus is decreased, why is it suddenly increasing massively? Why are the shutdown measures becoming more stringent, more devastating for businesses? Why are they saying in states like California, people have to stay home? There is no, you can't walk in public. Why is Joe Biden saying that after he is inaugurated, you're going to wear a mask for 100 days? Why is that? Why is it in a virus that when people under the age of 30 have a 99.997 or 99.998, depending on your gender, of survival? Why are they doing this? Since the best news in the world just came out, 3 vaccines. I don't think I'm going to do the vaccine. Why would I do the vaccine when everybody I know who's had it, including my 91-year-old mom, my 91-year-old mom did not have any symptoms? Why would I get a vaccine for something that nobody I know got really sick from? Why would I take a vaccine for a supposed pandemic that nobody I know died from? Why would I do that? Are you out of your mind? I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm all about vaccinations, but I just don't see the point. Sometimes I don't get a flu shot either. But why is it all of a sudden a lot worse when people are protesting an election? Why is it that Donald Trump is fighting election results? He's not going quietly into the night like Mitt Romney would do, or others. Why is everything suddenly bad? Why have all of the measures that Democrats have called for the last 8 months, why have none of them worked after the election? Okay. I'm not messing around here, okay? I want to know. I'm going to get this down here. I want to show you. This is where you order the shirts, by the way. I'm beginning to move some serious shirts, and it would really help me if you would do some Christmas shopping, get your Cancel Fox News, your super spreader, your America Supremacist shirt, fake news channel, all of these. We've got about 85 designs. Just go to tpublic.com, look for Conservatees. You can get stuff on mugs. You can get stuff on phone cases, T-shirts, hoodies, whatever. It's really cool. Here is Joe Biden talking about how he's going to take Christmas away from you. This was the feeble old man who could barely put together a thought in an interview the other night with Jake Tapper, who is a tool, talking about how Christmas needs to go away. The most sacred holiday for Christians in the world. The Democrat Party, the President of the United States, the President-elect, who I don't recognize as the President-elect, by the way. You can't get together for Christmas, and you shouldn't travel. You're going to have to stay at home. You're going to have to stay at home, and if you can't stay at home, then we're going to have to shut down your workplace and your restaurant, and you're going to have to not have more than any people from another household in your home. Here's the fool.
And I hope you all are listening, as with all the trouble you're going through, you cannot be traveling during these holidays. As much as you want to.
In the words of Rage Against the Machine, F you, I won't do what you told me.
I have a large family. I
don't remember how many grandchildren. It kind of fluctuates.
Brock used to kid me about it. I mean,
I don't care.
Everything for me is family, beginning, middle, and end. When one comes, everybody comes. You think I'm joking? I'm not.
When one's getting money from Ukraine, everybody is.
16 people go away every Thanksgiving. My deceased son, before he passed away, we'd all go away, and we'd go away on Thanksgiving to be just a nuclear family. Mom, dad, sons, daughters, husbands, wives, grandchildren.
Who cares?
And the first time we had a Thanksgiving with my wife and myself, my daughter in the region, and her husband, who's a doctor in the region. That's it.
Were they outside of your household?
All my other kids, everybody else in the family, was on Zoom on Thanksgiving, which doesn't. Well, Christmas is going to be a lot harder.
Bullshit.
And, I don't want to scare anybody here, but understand the facts.
You're trying.
We're likely to lose another 250,000 people.
You are lying. You are lying through your false teeth.
Dead between now and January.
You are a lying son of a bitch. You are saying that 250,000 people have died in the last 8 months, and suddenly another 250,000 people are going to die of COVID before the end of the year. 6% of the people who have died with COVID died of COVID. The rest died of other comorbidities.
You hear me?
You are a lying son of a bitch, sir.
Because people aren't paying attention. People aren't paying attention. You are, Dan. You're not letting people congregate inside your restaurant. You know what that.
Goodbye. Here is the Mayor Garcetti of Los Angeles, and this is, again, a city that has been shut down for months, a city that have been wearing masks, has had the worst shutdowns. Outdoor dining is no longer allowed. Outdoor dining. Shall be one case of somebody who died from COVID because they were dining outdoors with other people. Shall be one person. You can't. Here is this dictator.
We're beginning to feel that stress here in Los Angeles.
No, you're not.
And the latest data is nothing short of alarming.
You're a liar.
In the last month alone, since early November, our daily infections have tripled. Our hospitalizations have more than tripled and are at a new peak. And
the other day I played an LA Raider before the game in Vegas, and he gets tested every day for COVID, and the health department of Nevada called him and said, you have tested positive for COVID. And he said, that is impossible. I get tested by my team every single day. The health department official immediately backtracked. You can't find that video anywhere. People are being called en masse. People who have been to the hospital for other reasons are being told that they have COVID. This is a lie. If all of the safety measures have not worked, then why double down on them? This is a lie. Where are the trucks full of body bags? Where are the pits where people are being buried? Where are the massive funerals? If you look at CDC, actually Johns Hopkins University, if you look at the death rate of Americans last year to this year, it is not increased at all. And this includes in the elderly community. They withdrew that study the other day. They withdrew it. You're being played.
Our deaths have nearly doubled.
You're a liar.
And they continue to rise.
You're a liar.
These numbers don't reflect last week's record-breaking numbers. They don't reflect yet the Thanksgiving effect of time spent together with families.
Okay, it's been a couple of weeks since Thanksgiving. You've been wrong about everything. They said that Sturgis was going to be a super spreader event. It wasn't. They said that the MAGA rally in Washington, D.C. Last month was going to be a super spreader event. It was not. Of course, no BLM rallies, no rally in Washington, D.C. with BLM members. None of that happened, and yet suddenly it is all over the place in places that people legitimately are already restricted.
When many people were gathering and traveling in defiance of public health. In our Golden State, unfortunately, California has one of the fewest numbers of hospital beds per capita compared to other states. So if cases continue on this pathway, if they continue to increase at the pace that we've seen, the county expects that we will run out of hospital beds here in Los Angeles.
Why don't you get the hospital ship that Donald Trump got ready? There were 2 ships that were made ready for New York City and for San Francisco. Neither of them were utilized. What about the ventilators? We needed ventilators so desperately. If the cases are increasing so dramatically, why is there suddenly no need for ventilators? Nobody needs a ventilator now. They needed 25,000 of them in New York City, but nobody needs a ventilator now. It's the same disease, guys. It's the same thing. Why aren't ventilators needed? Why are they not setting up hospitals in convention centers? Why are they not asking for hospital ships? Because you're being played.
By Christmas. The choices between us are stark. Between health and sickness. Between care and apathy. And yes, between life and death.
Fuck off.
For too many of the people that we love.
You're
the
a lying
message couldn't
sack
be
of
simpler.
crap.
It's time to hunker down.
Nope.
It's time to cancel everything. And if it isn't...
What? Hold on. Listen to this.
It's time to cancel everything. And if it isn't essential, don't do it. Don't meet up with others outside your household. Don't host a gathering.
Wow.
Don't attend a gathering. And
son
following our targeted safer at home order, if you're able to stay home, stay home.
Stay home. Lock your door. Unplug your internet. I'm not a conspiratorial person. I don't like Alex Jones. I'm just asking you to look at this with common sense and realize you're being played. I'm not being played. I get it. I'm not being played. I'm not going there. This is a woman who owns a business called the Pineapple Grill in L.A. She's being told that her outdoor dining needs to stop. However, the governor of the state of California, Gavin Newsom, says that those who are involved in movie production companies, they don't have to worry about it.
So this is my place, the Pineapple Hill Grill and Saloon. If you go to my page, you can see all the work I did for outdoor dining, for tables being 7 feet apart. And I come in today because I'm organizing a protest, and I came in to get stuff for that. And I walk into my parking lot, and obviously Mayor Garcetti.
I want you to listen to how soul-crushing this woman, her commentary is, because this is someone who, through none of her own fault, is being told that she has to close down her business because people will die. But across the street, because of the industry they're involved, they're going to be perfectly fine.
Has approved this. Has approved this being set up for a movie company.
You're being played. You're being lied to, and you're being manipulated. And there's an end game to this, and it's not pretty.
I'm losing everything. Everything I own is being taken away from me. And they set up a movie company right next to my outdoor patio, which is right over here. And people wonder why I'm protesting and why I have had enough. They have not given us money, and they have shut us down. We cannot survive. My staff cannot survive.
Do you think there's a reason why Nancy Pelosi is holding up aid? Do you think there's a reason why? It's to take away people's livelihood altogether. It's to where they can't do a thing. They don't have money to travel. They don't have money to pay the bills. The only thing they can think about is their own survival. This is so ungodly, devious, and awful.
Look at this. Tell me that this is dangerous, but right next to me as a slap in my face.
It is time. It is time to fight. Oh, goddamn. It is time to fight. And I would pick up arms for this woman. Hell yeah. I would defend her. Hell yeah.
That's safe. This is safe.
Bullshit.
50 feet away.
I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious that government is choosing what should stay open and what should close. It is obvious that government is choosing who should survive and who should not. It is obvious. Dear God in heaven. Do I have to say it again? Suddenly, this disease is exploding across the country and millions of people are sick. Where are the bodies? I'll drive to the emergency room again today. I went to the emergency room the other night at a hospital near me. Nobody there. And they want to keep you at home so you can't go out and see. They want to keep you at home so you can't go to the hospital emergency room and see the empty rooms. You have to stay home. You can't go see your relatives. You can't go to church. You can't send your kid to school. My daughter is distance learning in her room this week because suddenly things are awful and terrible. And she goes to a school where literally 2,500 to 3,000 kids, faculty, and staff go, and nobody has died of COVID. No, if this is the pandemic of the ages that would shut down our country and stop us from being able to assemble and to worship for God's sake, why aren't there dozens, perhaps hundreds of people dead in that school? Why is it, guys? Why is this woman not able to open her business, but across the way, the favored ones of the governor or the mayor, that's perfectly fine?
This is dangerous. Mayor Garcetti and Gavin Newsom is responsible for every single person that doesn't have unemployment, that does not have a job, and all the businesses that are going under. And we need your help. We need somebody to do something about this.
And you know what it's going to take? It's going to take you and me and 80 million other people who say, enough is enough is enough is enough. We are not going to have our freedom taken away. We are not going to have the United States as founded taken away. We are not going quietly into the night. And if you think you can take on 80 million very well-armed intellectually and physically people who are on a razor's edge, then I dare you to do it. This is a guy who's gone viral. He interrupted a live TV shot because his restaurant is being closed down. He's become a folk hero.
The details on why the judge said no. Tavarius, is everything okay?
Okay. My government leaders have abandoned me.
Now, this is Dave Morris, the owner of DNR's Daily Grind in Portage. I believe this is in Michigan.
Are you the owner? $4 trillion of stimulus money. They gave it to who? Special interest groups and campaign donors. I'm Dave Morris. I own the place.
So what's going on?
What's going on? You know what's going on.
Tell me. You tell me.
Hey, we got a government that has taken the stimulus money. They gave it to special campaign donors. They gave it to special interests. They abandoned me, and they have put me in a position where I have to fight back.
Yes.
Okay?
So do you feel that this is the right thing to do?
Absolutely. I feel everybody needs to stand up. Hey, listen, there was enough money to give every family in this country $20,000 to go home for 2 months. They chose to give it to special interests and campaign donors, the Kennedy Space Center, and they abandoned us. So you could have given me money. I'd gladly walk away for 60 days and let this virus settle down. I'm not going to do it alone. Okay?
Are you going to continue to violate the state's orders and stay open?
State order. This isn't an order. This is a conspiracy. This is a tyranny.
What do you want to tell other restaurant owners who...
Wake up. Stand up. This is America. Be free.
There you go. What did I just tell you? What did I just tell you? Lynn says they approve and they can manipulate you. Yeah. turning off power and water if people congregate. Mm-hmm. In states like Pennsylvania, telling you that you can't have more than 6 people in your home, or you can't have people from outside your household in your home, or you face 30 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. Meanwhile, governors, mayors, they ignore their own rules. I've got a montage I'm going to play here in a few minutes. That is just absolutely amazing. This is Chef Andrew Gruel making headlines, going viral for posting a video on social media blasting the governor's lockdown on outdoor dining. Here he is. Here is the video.
Okay, I've got everybody blowing up my replies right now saying I'm a grandmother killer and that we don't take this pandemic seriously. So I'm just going to address it all right here so that I actually don't have to individually go back and forth and box with every single one of these fake accounts. So here's the situation. Do we take the pandemic seriously? Of course we do. Am I saying that we shouldn't close outdoor dining? Yes, I am. No. At every single juncture along the way here, from the beginning shutdown to today, we've listened to all of the advice from our government officials, only to be shut down over and over and over again, and then not compensated.
By the way, I just want to say real quick, if you're outdoors, if a business requires that you wear a mask indoors, you wear the mask. You do what they say. But if you're outdoors walking and somebody comes up to you and berates you for not wearing a mask, you tell them to shut their effing mouths, okay? You get in their faces and you say, go mind your own effing business, you sheep.
For the elements that we put in place in our businesses in order to protect our customers. We shut down indoor dining, no problem.
I had an a-hole the other day approach me in a Walmart because I wasn't wearing the mask properly, and he was broadcasting to everyone, oh, here's another person not wearing a mask. And I said, sir, kiss my ass.
I got a warehouse full of plexiglass right now, okay? We went outdoors, all right? Now that's getting shut down. I just put thousands of dollars.
You can't dine outdoors.
The outdoor heaters.
Wow.
There is zero scientific evidence that proves that outdoor dining is contributing to a rise in cases related to this.
He is 100% right. And it is time to say, F you. We're done.
All right? I am only saying
there aren't enough police, there aren't enough health officials to keep up with the people who say, you know what, we're done.
That we are going to continue dining outdoors because I can get on an airplane and I can fly and eat and do whatever I want. And don't tell me it's the HIPAA filters, okay? Because that's not the case. You don't turn those on until you get onto the plane. Before that, everybody's fornicating on top of each other. I can go into Walmart. Heck, I don't even have to wear pants. Nobody wears a mask at Walmart.
Where are all the deaths? Where are the deaths associated with working at Walmart, grocery stores, at retail outlets? Where are all the deaths? Why are those people not being paid hundreds of dollars per hour to risk their lives to work at Walmart or Target?
Walmart? I can go get a pink...
My son is starting to work at Target over the holiday, by the way.
Cockatoo for my Christmas tree, but I can't go and dine outdoors at a restaurant. I can go to Target. Amazon's making tons of money. All big business is getting rich. Okay, outdoor dining does not lead to any of that. Therefore, screw that. We're staying open.
Do it.
Outdoors. It's that simple. I'm not an asshole. The governor is.
Amen. I'm going to wrap up with this montage. And these are Democrat leaders who say one thing and do another. Okay, they are people who... and I have said, and again, this is just from the foundation of common sense, that if you truly believe that dining out, if you truly believe that traveling, if you truly believe that having other people in your household will cause people to die, then surely you would not want to do what you are preaching. Now, either these politicians have a death wish or they don't believe the controlling bullshit that they're telling you. The answer is really, 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 really obvious. And if you don't get it and you deny it, you are an ignoramus and you are a dangerous person. Here is something that Steve Scalise put together.
There are certain leaders within the Democratic Party that won't abide by the limitations they're asking their constituents to abide by.
Newsom has repeatedly warned Californians to keep social gatherings small.
He's one of several Democratic leaders, though, being accused of hypocrisy after he was caught breaking his own rules.
My mom is going to come up, and two of my...
Why would he want his mother to die? I mean, he's sentencing his mother to death.
Girls.
In the very same interview, Cuomo told New Yorkers that this can't be a typical Thanksgiving, that you should not have friends and family gathering.
Nancy Pelosi
can be seen slinking through a San Francisco hair salon.
This is classic liberalism. They want the rules to apply to everybody but them. You know, you have to close your shop. You can't.
By the way, Austin's Democrat mayor, Steve Adler, told residents that they need not travel because of coronavirus. Do everything you can to keep the numbers down. This is not the time to relax. Our numbers are increasing, and everyone has to be aware, and we need to, stay at home if you can. He did that video from a vacation in Cabo. He either has a death wish or he doesn't believe the restrictive bullcrap that he is. Because you are below them, guys, by the way. You are below them. You are the bourgeois. They are the proletariat. They live by a different set of rules. But this time they're dangerously lying to you to take away your freedom.
They go to church, but they can just go show up.
A lot of people travel during this holiday. We really recommend that you avoid that.
Muriel Bowser left Washington, D.C. to go to Delaware. That is restricted travel to congratulate Joe Biden on his election victory, when she could have done it with a Zoom call.
Mayor Bowser traveled to Delaware for Biden's victory speech.
I mean, look at the Denver mayor the other night, tells everyone stay home, don't celebrate Thanksgiving. And about 10 minutes later, he's caught getting onto a plane to go to Mississippi and celebrate Thanksgiving.
Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot took heat.
How many examples do you need?
For pushing a new stay-at-home order just days after appearing without a mask among crowds.
Some California lawmakers ignoring their state's own travel advisory and are reportedly jetting out to Hawaii for a week-long policy conference.
I mean, these people really have no shame.
They have no shame. But it's beyond that, guys. There's a reason why all of this is happening. There's a reason why 2020 happened, and it's because it's 2020. Where are all the fires in the cities? Where's all the burning? That happened all summer long. And then when it started to affect the Democrat Party, it stopped. A virus from China came around. New York City demanded a hospital ship they never used. San Francisco did the same. Ventilators. Again, well, guys, we got an explosion of cases. Why aren't they demanding the hospital ships and the ventilators? If it's worse than ever, why? The best news in the world came around just a couple weeks ago, that 3 vaccines, 95% effective, were released. They went there through Operation Warp Speed. They were going to be available in days. But suddenly, since Election Day and its contesting, things have gotten a lot worse. And now we need to issue shutdown orders more stringent than ever. Put 2 and 2 together, guys. That's all I'm asking. Put 2 and 2 together. I'm not going quietly into the night. I'm not going to accept Joe Biden as my president. And if you thought, we don't destroy businesses, okay? We don't. But if you thought Antifa was a revolution, if you thought BLM is a revolution, you ain't seen nothing. You have not seen nothing. You have not seen a thing. It is 1776 all over again. It really is in a lot of people's minds. It's 1776 all over again. I'm not saying that this is going to be a violent conflict, but we are not going quietly into the night. We are not going to go lock ourselves in our home because of COVID. We are not going to accept Joe Biden as our president. It's just not going to happen. We are not going to let our country. We saw the greatest movement with regard to inspiration and patriotism in Donald Trump's campaign that we have seen, and it made us proud again. We've been told for 4 years we should kneel during the anthem, we should set flags on fire at public protests, and that was fine. And yet we saw tens of thousands of people show up at Trump rallies. Let's see if I want to wrap this up with this. I'm going to wrap things up with this because we need to be reminded of what was happening during the campaign of Donald Trump for 2020 and how he won this election in a landslide. It was obvious on election night. He was way out in front, and 5 battleground states stopped voting in the middle of the night, and massive voting spikes for Joe Biden to the tune of 95, 97, 99% of the vote came in. We're not stupid. Watch this. I'll wrap things up in just 1 second. Here we go. There we are.
Years from now, some of them may look back and ask themselves whether they've made the right choice.
Stay strong, guys.
Whether they've made the most of the opportunities they've been given. Together, we have the same mission. Over the course of your life, you will find that things are not always fair. You will find that things happen to you that you do not deserve and that are not always warranted. But you have to put your head down and fight, fight, fight. Never, ever, ever give up. Don't give in, don't back down, and never stop doing what you know is right.
When I post this video, guys, I want you to share it with everyone you know, okay? Subscribe to me and share this with everyone you know.
Nothing worth doing ever, ever, ever came easy. And the more righteous your fight, the more opposition that you will face. In your hearts are inscribed the values of service, sacrifice, and devotion. Now you must go forth into the world and turn your hopes and dreams into action. America has always been the land of dreams because America is a nation of true believers. When the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, they prayed. When the founders wrote the Declaration of Independence, they invoked our Creator 4 times. Because in America, we don't worship government, we worship God. It is why our currency proudly declares, "In God we trust." And it's why we proudly proclaim that we are one nation under God. The story of America is the story of an adventure that began with deep faith, big dreams, and humble beginnings. The next generation of American leaders never, ever give up. There'll be times in your life you'll want to quit. Never quit.
Meanwhile, the president-elect is telling you you can't travel for Christmas.
Never stop fighting for what you believe in and for the people who care about you. Carry yourself with dignity and pride. Demand the best from yourself. The more people tell you it's not possible, that it can't be done, the more you should be absolutely determined to prove them wrong. Treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation. Relish the opportunity to be an outsider. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. You must keep pushing forward. And always have the courage to be yourself. America is better when people put their faith into action. Pray to God and follow His teachings. Today, each of you begins a new chapter as well. When your story goes from here, it will be defined by your vision, your perseverance, and your grit. You will build a future where we have the courage to chase our dreams no matter what the cynics and the doubters have to say. You will have the confidence to speak the hopes in your hearts and to express the love that stirs your souls. As long as you have pride in your beliefs, courage in your convictions, and faith in God, then you will not fail. As long as America remains true to its values, loyal to its citizens, and devoted to its Creator, then our best days are yet to come.
Okay, I'm going to wrap things up with that, guys. Thank you for watching. Again, you know, the reason why I'm on Facebook today is because they took all of my accounts down the day after the election for no reason. They gave me no reason. They gave me no recourse. It was the first time in my life I have ever had my freedom of expression taken away when there was an expectation of it. Now, Facebook has banned me before, but nothing like this the day after the election. It was nakedly political, and they're trying to shut you down, whether that be on so big social media or whether that be by keeping you in your home, by putting your business out of business, by telling you you can't talk to other people. You can't have them in your home. You can't go to theaters. You can't go to concerts. You can't get together outdoors. That Black Lives Matter protests are fine, but pro-Trump rallies are bad. They'll kill you. Going to church, dear God. Going to church will kill you. Unbelievable. Go to parler.com, Parler.com, Rob Carson Show. Go to magabook, magabook.com, Rob Carson Show, and, of course, rumble.com. That is my new YouTube page. Okay? Do that, will you please? I got to go to work. God bless you guys. Watch my show on Newsmax this weekend. I greatly appreciate it. And share this video with others, okay? I am going to be strong for you. Please be strong for me. There are warriors for you out there. Dan Bongino is one of them. Mark Levin is one of them. Grant Stinchfield is one of them. We're not going anywhere. I'll see you soon. Take care.